this is how I make my smoked cheese. I have 3 templates. I have a bottom one, goes in the bottom of the pan like that. And I have a middle template that'll fit in the middle. And a top template I use to cut the cheese for the top. And next thing I'll do is take my pan and put aluminum foil on it. Okay, I've got my Good Cook cake pan. It's 8 inches across and it's got some deep sides to it. And aluminum foil is used so when you're all done, flip it upside down and the cheese is going to come right out instead of sticking to the pan. So that's why I use aluminum foil. So next thing I'm going to do is get ready to start slicing up my cheese to layer them in the pan here and get it ready for smoking. Well, here we are in my next step. I'm using Monteray Jack. You can see it's 32 ounce packet, and this should get me through one pie pan here. So I take this and I've measured it with a piece of tape right here. So cheese is going to cut from here to here when I slice it down, and what I get is, I believe, these 3 pieces right here. Oh. Right here, these 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. And it just gets right here in the tip. And I may make these a little bit thinner so that they're a little bit lower. You know, right, come down about there instead of right on the top. I want them just below the top here. So I'm good with this. I'll just cut them a little thinner from my mark. And my next step is now to cut all this cheese up, and then I put them on the cutting board over there and use my template over here and cut out the circle for the first layer. So we'll get that going next. Well, you can see I've got all my cheese sliced up here. I'm ready to put my first layer. Here's my cutter. You see what I did is I put a little pencil mark right there, and then I just come over just a tad to thin it out because the cheese isn't touching the pencil mark. And you can see where I've contoured this a little bit, and this is my template, and I cut around it, and this piece here I'm going to put over here to finish it off, and I got an extra piece right here I'm going to put over on the top here, and you'll see when I'm done here how it works out. Now I've got my first layer cut with my template. You can see my cheese here, and it's all kind of like sliced up, you can see, but that's all going to melt together. So we're going to take that and put it in the bottom here. Now I just take these and stick them in here like this. It actually makes it a lot faster when you got the template. And I've got these couple pieces here that were my samples. Then I don't waste anything. Put these in here. Get that fixed up real nice. Go in here. Okay. Put that in there. And it's kind of tight, but it kind of melts nice and don't have no cracks. That, of course, this is going to be the bottom anyway, so I'm not worried about it. Nobody's going to see it. And that's about done. Get these in here. The last tricky part is right on the top. Get these in here nice. got that in there. Pretty nice, as you can see. Next step is I take my poppy seeds here. And I'm going to sprinkle them in there pretty good. So, see how I do that. And as you can see, that's about maybe a little more. Maybe a little bit more here. Yeah, that's about how much I put in there. So now I'm going to go and put my cheese up. Put that on the board here. Line them up. Get my template for the middle. Put that in there and cut them around. And we'll do the next. So we'll do the next step. Well, now I'm ready to do the middle layer. I'll cut it all out here, and we'll turn the pan a little bit so they're all kind of not the diagonals the same, and start putting them in there. Whoops.
Pick it up. And it big. There you go. You got it.
I got a tight fit on that one. That's what I like, is tight fits. Yeah, nice. Just about done here. Whoops. Yeah, if you get a little bit too tight, you may have to just trim this off a little bit to get it in the pan. I kind of like to make my plates tight here on the sides, so that's the way I do it. So now we've got that layer ready to go. I'm not worried about that little dimple here, because that's gonna fill up. You don't have to be exact. It'll level out when it's melted in the smoker. Again, I'm putting her in pretty good. Watch out, this girl over there is getting like a little mouse on my scraps. Gotta watch out for those mouses when you're in the kitchen working here. They kind of, so that's kind of what I'm trying to do there. And I'm going to do the last layer. Well, I just cut out the last layer with my top template, and I got it all nice and round here, and I'm going to put that on top here. Twist my pan, I get cheese in different lines, not all going the same way. Let's go fast on over here. Okay. This is nice. It's tight. Last piece. Off a little. See them off a little bit here, so I'm just going to go with that. It'll fit right in there. Now I put my poppy seeds on top, my frosting, I guess you'd call it, my cheese pie. I kind of do the top a little thicker and it browns up. There you go. I'd call it my cheese pie, but actually I guess it's a cheese cake pan. Well, here's my smoker. It's an old refrigerator, porcelain one. I took all the guts out of it. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 trays to put stuff on, and the bottom one, if I want to put the hot plate on the inside, and there's my chips, wood chips on my cast iron. It's 10.5 inch cast iron skillet. And this is what I use the smoker with, is this mesquite. This happens just to be Weber's, but I get whatever I can in mesquite, and just, you know, find it cheap. I'll get 4 or 5 bags. Lasts me a while. And here's my hot plate. I go through hot plates quite a bit. Can't seem to get one that lasts. That's 1500 watts, so it gets hot, and it's hard to control the heat in here. If I have to, I've got down below here, I'd put this down here if I want to cold smoke it, which I'll do tomorrow, I think. I'll put everything down here and cold smoke it, and I'll look at my cheese and just see if you know, how it's melting together. And if I have to just get some heat on it, I'll take it out, put it up higher, up, you know, where it's at now, and without the wood chips on there, just to get the cheese coagulated a little bit, kind of melted together. And that's it. So we'll get this thing going tomorrow, and we'll see how the smoked cheese comes out. I'll just close her up here. That's it, just an old refrigerator. I make sure, well, I've started smoking my cheese. As you can see down here, what I've done is I've got that plate ready to go and the lights on. Got to turn to max, get this going. I'll be monitoring this, watching my cheese, make sure it doesn't over melt, and get the color I want on top up here. And then if it's I find that it's got the color I want, and I'll just then let the heat, because I want all the little cracks or it all melts together. And this should take about 3 hours. It's about 12:45, so around 4 o'clock it'll be done. I'll be coming out watching this. That's what I found I need to do, is just watch, so I don't over bake it. And you over bake it, it dries out the cheese, and it doesn't cut real good. It's nice and smooth. So that's the secret, is watching the temperature on this cheese. So I just do it here. I don't have a temperature probe. I just go by looks. So this is the last part. Yeah, and the actual last part is taking this out and taking it out of the aluminum foil. So then we put it in a sealer mill, core them up, freeze them, and they're good frozen in the sealer mill, and they last forever almost. So we'll see how this goes in about 3 hours.